Okay, so it is November 8th, Saturday morning. An update on the murder case CR 20230040. I filed for a motion for discovery and for sealing of the records. Judge Whiting ignored this case for 110 days. I filed a motion for an immediate hearing on this case, since the judge is only allowed 60 days to file the motion, which I filed October 26th, the motion for a hearing. Um, this motion was ignored, and miraculously, my 2023 040 case, first degree murder, is now missing. I don't know where it's at. Apache County will not include the defendant, which is me, even though they refuse to give me a lawyer. They refuse to interact with me. And because I'm considered indigent now, because Apache County had to fake charges against me to try to destroy my life. I have filed my motion into intent with the state attorney general and the chief justice of the Supreme Court of Arizona, Judge Whiting's boss, about his criminal misconduct. I asked for a copy of all my court transcripts, which, unfortunately, as everything goes on, Apache County has not turned anything over. They don't believe in federal law. They don't believe in FOIA. They don't believe in any request whatsoever, as long as it doesn't benefit them. This is criminal acts. I'm working with a senator from the state of Arizona, and he sees my point, and hopefully we will be able to introduce a bill that makes it a criminal offense to violate FOIA. So those lovely little clerks who want to hide behind "my boss told me so" and failure to follow the law would make it a punishable offense of 1 to 3 years in prison. So keep hiding behind your qualified immunity. That's the problem in Apache County. These people here hide, lie, cheat, and steal. So on my murder case, it is now officially gone. I don't know where it's gone. The judge has supposedly made a ruling, or I don't know, because I have yet to be notified. What's really interesting is that I'm on the e-file for the state of Arizona. And my name is clearly there. And since I'm acting as my own lawyer, they refuse to send me any documentation. Even though I've requested a lawyer in a first degree murder charge or a second degree murder charge, I don't know what it is. Unfortunately, it's all over the board. On public records, it was decided as first degree murder. In court, sometimes they talked about it was an attempted murder. Sometimes they talked about it was a conspiracy to commit murder. I really don't know what exact the charges were. All I know is there was never an overt attempt. And the judge ruled that doing this, is an overt attempt, even though they have no proof that I did it. It's all hearsay, and it goes on. And this is what happens when Apache County kidnaps you for 2 years, 10 days, and then says that your time doesn't count, and has a fake conviction. But we're going to get on the 310 case. That's the aggravated assault case. There's some very interesting things there, especially with jury members who were in the process of divorcing their husbands and were promised charges against their husbands to help them out in their other cases, as long as they pled guilty. I heard that. And plus, we also had members and family members of the court who, let's think, that served on my jury. Amazing. 70,000 people, and they managed to get the close-knit group. And people have said things, and we're working forward with the feds and everything else on that case. But my murder case is supposedly gone. Can't find it, can't file anything on it. And I have no information from the county, even though I'm on the list for e-file. So once again, the county is working hard at removing any communication with me, removing my ability to have free access to the courts, as I've demanded a hearing now twice in this case. I waited over 110 days. We're now at 120 some odd days beyond my original motion. And according to Arizona law, the judge should have to forfeit his pay because he's failing to do his job. Judge Whiting gets paid $186,000 a year, according to public record. I and somebody who doesn't understand hearsay or what attempt is or anything else. As they try to cover everything up, they have now removed all access to anything. The county district attorney's office and its wonderful world of corruption has refused to provide discovery of the complete file. So, what are they hiding? That is the question. See, am I just some weird conspiracy guy that says, oh, nope, the county kidnapped me for 2 years, 10 days, had a fake trial on one case, dropped harassment charges on another, and dropped the first-degree murder charge that the judge openly said in court that I was guilty of before I was even allowed to have a trial? And then all of a sudden it's dismissed. They wanted to use it against me as prior bad acts, as in a against the aggravated assault case. Now, I don't know how I had prior bad acts of attempted murder when those supposedly happened, or murder in the first degree, whichever way you want to say it. Those happened in the future versus happening. The aggravated assault supposedly happened up front. Then they wanted to bring in prior bad acts, which means before, of my attempted murder on somebody who wasn't a victim and couldn't be a victim. That is interesting. So, can't get any information out of the Apache County Sheriff's Department, of course. Joseph Dedman refuses to have a conversation with me. I've asked for a meeting with him probably about 20, 25 times, all to be ignored by the Sheriff's Department and officials. And they don't like that. I've asked to speak to the supervisors of some of these police officers. Yeah, they don't do that either. To protect and serve and work with the community. Yeah, Apache County Sheriff's Department is not there to do that. I think they're following suit behind Round Valley. And they think I'm going to go away. I get daily threats of my demise by calls from the Apache County Sheriff's Department about how I'm going to die and how they're going to kill me. At this point, it's amazing the amount of terror they're trying to impose on me. The good thing is, though, I filed my notice of intent against the county with the state Arizona AG, like I'm supposed to. And, well, hopefully everybody keeps paying their taxes, because I definitely, you're going to have to spend a lot. Apache County has already spent over $500,000 trying to convict me and get me to take a plea deal. I haven't taken a plea deal, and I'm not going to take a plea deal. I can't take a plea deal right now because of the coercion that has gone on. Apache County wants me to move because one person paid them over $42,000 to do it, and that is from the district attorney. Now, guess what? Sergeant Polk, now a sergeant, he was a deputy before, but now he's been promoted in my murder case and doesn't know how to investigate a murder case, is now going to have to deal with the Arizona Post because he failed to do his job appropriately. And even other members of the Sheriff's Department have given me sworn statements that I have sent to the Arizona Post, because Apache County won't take a formal complaint and they refuse to. So it's nice how the Apache County is covering its own butt. The only thing is I'm never going away. Even though John Scruggs, his wife, and even I don't know, the probation officer told me I need to move. I didn't last on probation very long. I didn't have my probation revoked because the county did not want the records request that the appellate lawyer was doing. So they reversed and vacated their conviction without any agreement or stipulation from me. And my other lawyer has already given a written statement on that. I have the email. So the lies that are being spewed in court again on the 2021-00310 case, yeah, they're still not doing it. The county is still refusing to address the perjury charges, even though I have the open court transcripts and I have sworn statements to contradict everything that was said. I also have proof of the false filings done by the county district attorney's office stating they turned over discovery. And I have sworn statements that no discovery was ever turned over, even though official court record says there was. So the official court record seems to have a lot of problems with it. And why is that? Because Apache County is corrupt. And it goes all the way from there. The clerk of the courts, who does the recording thing, she decided to openly file more false documents of when I was present and when I wasn't in the court, even though the judge, and on the 310 case, the judge actually violated my constitutional rights. And it's basic. I've never disturbed the court. I've never acted inappropriately in court, but the judge excluded me from my own jury trial. Think about that. He didn't exclude me from all of it. He just excluded me from parts of it. John Lee, the wonderful public defender he is, actually admitted that the judge told him of what he was allowed to do and not to do. Is that not judicial interference? But of course, the county doesn't want to hear any of this stuff. I have watched the blatant violations of the court procedures. I don't think this court knows how to follow a court procedure or even follow the law. My opinion of Judge Whiting, unfortunately, is very similar to a lot of people's opinion in Apache County. I've had a lot of people come up and tell me he is one of the most corrupt, lying, backstabbing, and vindictive people they have ever met. I don't know if it's true or not, but I have been told by a lot of people that, and I'm talking more than 50, 60, 70, probably about 500 or 600 different people that have come up and approached me and hoping that I get the removal of Judge Whiting and a couple of other people because it's all corrupt. At the VFW, I was told that it's just common knowledge about what goes on in this county. Everybody knew Round Valley was corrupt. But I hate to tell you this, get the state of Arizona to take a look at, or the feds to dig into Apache County and actually do a real good job. You're going to find out the corruption, the murder, the disappearance, the bullying, the fake charges. They're all the same, including child molestation, rape, abduction, and it's all hidden. This county is so horrible. Now, people go, why don't you move if the county is so horrible? Because I have a house here. I've set down roots, and I can survive without running a business in Apache County. Now, it is my duty as a citizen and as an ex-U.S. soldier to stand up. These people, and I believe most of them are Democrats, are taking this to a level that they did against other people at a much higher level. It's insane. The fake charges, the bullshit, the inability to allow me to speak in court or have my day in court. It's just throw as much mud against the wall and see what sticks, even when you have no evidence. And that's case in point and true, because literally 4 years later, I'm still not a convicted felon. The judge had to create judicial and fundamental error in my jury trial. Are you serious? They couldn't even do it on a fair playing field. You couldn't even have a fair jury trial in Apache County. And my case isn't the only one that's been overturned. There's been several cases. So is there a pattern here in Apache County where they can't hold a judicial trial? They don't know how to because of the problems. They don't know how to have a fair. We may have switched district attorneys, but they're just as corrupt and they're just as illegal. And I'm sorry to say, I don't know the new district attorney. All I can see is the actions that are being done out of Apache County District Attorney's office, and they're not right. They're still filing that they turn over discovery. They're still lying. They're still openly perjuring themselves in court, filing false documents, even when they know, which is an ethical violation, that their cops are lying to them. Look at how many cases Round Valley went through in court with these corrupt cops. Every last one of them needs to be looked at. Round Valley and the sheriff's department love to plant evidence. Now, yes, we have people who do things that are wrong in this county, but guess what? It's not as bad as what it is. You've got probation officers who want to change the rules of probation. So, say in my case, probation officers came to my house 2 days before my conviction was vacated. Okay, they looked around. My girlfriend drinks. She does. They told me that they would have violated me for my probation if she wasn't here because she had alcohol. I'm not drinking. I've lost my taste for it. It makes my stomach nauseous right now. So, but my probation agreement is that I would not be drinking. I would not go to any establishment. Well, they said, well, you have the potential to do it. So, and I said, well, you can do a test. I can do a scram. I said, I'm not drinking. I'm not doing nothing. Well, NyQuil does it. I said, well, I don't drink NyQuil either. But it's funny is that I'm allowed to use, and I was allowed to use, I don't have a prescription for it. I don't do it, but medical marijuana. I can't have a drink, even though none of my crimes are alcohol related. At least the crimes that I was accused of, and all that good stuff. And so here I'm not drinking, but just because it's in the house, I'm guilty. Can we stretch the law anymore or stretch the agreement? This is almost as good as the assistant of Apache County District probation officer being unable to spell the word torture. That was great, but he also violated laws, and Apache County doesn't want to listen to that either. And I found out from another state that they were given the full disclosure that juvenile charges were dismissed and with prejudice, and they tried to use that against me in sentencing because they didn't include the fact that they were dismissed. So once again, we're fake altering, filing false court documents that are not complete in record, even though they were given the complete record. And then in violation of Arizona law and other states' laws, they tried to use a juvenile record against me because they couldn't find anything in the last 30 years. Ooh. But then wanted to recommend that I get 15 years in prison for never touching anybody. Thank God it got dismissed, because unfortunately that was just another place that the case would have been overturned on. And Apache County knew it was going to be overturned. That's the great part about it. So anyways, I've gone on long enough, 20 minutes. We also, by the way, too, I have submitted video to John Scruggs about a murder and somebody confessing a murder to me. I did this several years ago, and he has failed to investigate and failed to do anything, because the murder was actually sanctioned by Apache County. And I personally believe, and this is my opinion, that John Scruggs was involved in on it. I've heard a lot of corruption stories, and I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt. Unfortunately, his actions and his wife's actions speak a lot louder. You guys aren't going to bully me. Go ahead, make do on your threat that you're going to kill me during a traffic stop. Um, you're the people with the guns, and you're the terrorists, not me. I have not threatened to kill or kill anybody. I haven't. Yeah, no. I've wished people dead, but I've never threatened to kill them or given action on it. Um, so we move on from there. But I'm the one facing murder charges, even though you, John Scruggs, have wonderfully done a lot of really bad shit, and I'm uncovering some of it. So, and the abuse that goes on in this county. Anyways, we're gonna move forward. My murder case has disappeared without a hearing, without any interaction with me, who's supposedly representing himself by force of the district, by the force of this Judge Whiting, because he says I don't have a right to an attorney in a first degree murder trial. He's also said that before. He doesn't want those court records transcribed. He did it in December of 2020. No, October of 2023. He said in open court that I don't have a right to a lawyer. That was September, October. I've asked for those records many times. He doesn't want to be held accountable because, why should he hold himself accountable when he's holding everybody else accountable? And his criminal actions actually harm more people than what it is. So, with that, my murder case is supposedly gone. Can't find it. Supposedly the judge made a ruling on it, but they never e-filed it directly back to me. But it looks like, and the case has just disappeared. It was there Thursday and Friday morning. I checked it again this morning, and I no longer have access to it. It doesn't work. I checked public records, and CR 20230040 is now off my record. It still doesn't absolve them from their criminal behavior of the prosecutory misconduct, and I'm still pursuing all of that. Unfortunately, the government likes to cover itself up, and Apache County is great at not doing what's right. So, once again, I'm waiting for a county district attorney or an assistant clerk to the judge to tell me how much I got to pay them to make this all go away. They did it once for $50,000. Let's see if they'll do it again. For sale justice in Apache County. And I must be right, because try to get records from Apache County. And what happens when we're trying to hide something? We don't release the information. We cover it up. Why is Judge Whiting won't allow me to have a hearing on my case, even when he refuses to rule on the case, 110 days, then I file a motion for a hearing, and then the case is gone. It just disappears. And I will find a way to post the motion that I filed, because it outlines the criminal conspiracy that has gone on since the day of this case. I included things that were relevant into the murder case, including the bag lady's perjury, an open perjury in court that Apache County District Attorney's Office blatantly refuses to prosecute. Figure that one out. How much money did it cost her? They're asking $50,000 for first degree murder, or aggravated assault, class 2 felony. Then how much do you think they're going to get for perjury? We should all ask the Apache County District Attorney's Office, how much does it cost? Because it's obvious they're for sale. Anyways, you guys have a wonderful day. I've opined now. I've bloviated actually for 24 minutes or 25 minutes. You guys have a wonderful day. This is the first degree murder charges. The case is no longer found online or public. An Apache County judge made a ruling supposedly, or something happened, and the case has now completely disappeared. And me, as the defendant, have been given no documentation. And I've been forced to be my own lawyer in a first degree murder charge when I did not give up my rights knowingly, intelligently, or any other way. And I had nobody waive them on my behalf. So figure that one out. Huh. Maybe the clerk of the courts didn't file out, didn't send it out, whatever. The judge didn't do it. It's amazing how many wrongs this court's going to do. How many basic clerical errors, or they want to blame it on human error. The incompetency that comes out of this court, this court is anything they say is usually a miscarriage of justice or something. They're lying, BSing, covering up, and it's just every day for them. Every single one of these people need to be fired. They need to be put on trial. They're horrible. And yes, they are neck deep in with Round Valley. The sheriff's department, I know they back up Round Valley all the time. They're friends, they're buddies, they hang out with each other. Drive around. When you find a sheriff, you find a Round Valley cop. Huh. You don't think that they were involved in all of that criminal misdoing? Please. Let's put common sense forward. Anyways, hope everybody has a good day. This is an update on the murder case, the murder without a murder that didn't happen, and there was no overt act for murder, but I was guilty according to Judge Garrett Whiting. Amazingly, he had to dismiss these charges. After he told me several times in his court that I was guilty of first-degree murder. Why is that? Oh, yeah, I expect more false charges. They're coming. I know the county is going to try to kidnap me again, or the sheriff's department is going to put a bullet in my head. One of the two. But I'm still not going to shut up. And hopefully, I hope that they're going to, if they're going to say they're going to do something, I hope they try. I don't really hope they try. I just wish this could all be settled. Joseph Dedman, why are you being such a chicken shit? Why do you refuse to communicate? Why do all your deputies refuse to communicate? Why can't I file a complaint like every other citizen in the county of Apache with your sheriff's department, which is required per the rules? Why is Apache County government stonewalling me? Why is the Apache County District Attorney Office have a simple open and closed case of theft? Refused to do it. We have a case where I was almost driven over on my own property, and the sheriff's department and the district attorney's office refused to investigate, even though I had other witnesses, and those other witnesses told the sheriff's department, and they still refused to take any criminal complaint. Why? Maybe it's because what I'm saying is true. Apache County? Well, I will never give up. And I can't. It's just against morals. And my morals don't change with whoever's giving me money. I'm definitely coming, and I'm going to do everything legal that I can. And I will never stop, whether it's in state court or whether it's in federal court. So maybe you should probably sit down and have a conversation, and maybe we should work this problem out. But I already know you guys aren't going to, so that's why I filed my notice of intent. I hope you guys like it, and I'm not stopping, and I'm not shutting up. I bide my time, I collect my evidence, and we go forward. You guys collect your evidence, go ahead. Everything you guys got, I said, I'm more law-abiding than you guys are. So, once again, I was going to go at 25 minutes. I'm now at the 30-minute mark, or 20 minutes and 29 minutes and 30 seconds. But I hope you guys all have a wonderful day. I hope that you don't fall prey to the Apache County machine of corruption, violation, rape, murder, child molestation, and kidnapping. These people are horrible, and I don't understand them. I really don't. But God bless. Stay strong. I always will. I can stand alone. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. Have fun. Enjoy your day. A happy Thanksgiving, by the way. Um, Hope you guys have a good one. I will. Bye.